this? Understanding really complex challenges, things like what goes on in urban communities, gangs, violence, trying to support at-risk youth,
Yeah.
it can feel, well, overwhelming.
Yeah, it really can. It's easy to just see the headlines, the stats.
Right. But sometimes, maybe the best way to really get the depth of it all and what it actually takes to make a difference is to look at the people who've spent their lives doing the work. How did they build up that kind of specific, hard-won expertise?
Exactly. It's about seeing the layers, isn't it? The formal education, sure, but also the street level reality, how they interact with the legal system. You don't just wake up with credibility in these fields. It's built.
And that's really what we want to do today. We're doing a deep dive and we're using just one source, but it's a fascinating one, the CV of Douglas Fort. It lays out this pretty remarkable career path, and our goal here is to unpack the experiences listed on it to try and understand the kind of knowledge base you actually need for these roles dealing with urban communities, with gangs, with vulnerable people. What does this document really tell us about building expertise in such a tough field? Let's unpack it.
Yeah, and a CV like this, in this kind of context, it's more than just a list of jobs.
Right.
It's almost like a map of how wisdom was acquired, often through some really, really difficult experiences.
Absolutely. So let's start at the beginning, maybe look at the foundation. What's the academic groundwork here? The CV kicks off with formal education, a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice.
Right.
And a minor in Urban Affairs from Jackson State University back in 2000. Graduated cum laude, too.
Okay, so right away, that combination, criminal justice and urban affairs, that tells you something. CJ gives you the system, police, courts, corrections, that framework, but adding urban affairs, that signals an early focus on the environment where these issues play out. The social fabric, the economics, the culture of the cities. It's not just crime in isolation, it's the context.
And then years later, the CV shows this interesting return to legal studies, independent courses through an executive juris doctorate program, University of Silicon Valley Law School.
Yeah, I saw that. And it seems it wasn't about becoming a practicing attorney necessarily.
Right. But look at the subjects. Fundamentals of law, California civil procedure, legal research and writing, criminal law, torts, contracts.
That's what's really interesting. Why would someone doing this kind of community-focused work dive into, say, civil procedure or contracts? To me, it suggests wanting to understand the whole legal landscape that affects things like nonprofits, community groups, getting funding, navigating the system from all angles, not just the criminal side. It's about getting like a sophisticated legal literacy.
That makes sense. It broadens the toolkit. And then there are these other very specific training courses listed from 2015. Surveillance law at Stanford.
Whoa, yeah.
And understanding terrorism and terrorist threats from the University of Maryland START program.
Now, those are interesting. It shows an effort to understand group dynamics, maybe threats, through these really different, highly analytical lenses.
Yeah, and the source material, the CV itself, notes that within that terrorism training context, street gangs are considered a lower-level model of a terrorist organization.
Wow. Okay, that comparison explicitly noted like that, it's pretty striking. It suggests a really sophisticated way of analyzing how groups organize and behave, even if they seem totally different on the surface.
Yeah, thinking about gang structures using counterterrorism analysis, that's definitely not your standard criminal justice 101 perspective.
Not at all.
The CV also lists other specific trainings. Street soldiers methodology, defending gang case seminars, that's the Education Act for individuals with disabilities, right?
Yeah, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act.
Also psychosocial healing process and anger management.
See, this mix is crucial. It connects the big picture system understanding with, direct human intervention. Street soldiers, that's a known gang intervention model. Outreach, mediation.
Right.
Defending gang cases, that's obviously legal strategy. But adding IDA, psychosocial healing, anger management, that shows a really deep grasp that tackling gang involvement means understanding trauma, mental health, behavior issues, even the school system's role. It's legal, it's tactical, and it's therapeutic, all mixed together.
Okay, so we're seeing this layered intellectual foundation being built, but knowledge isn't just theory, is it? It has to be applied, tested.
Absolutely.
And the CV really highlights expertise in a super high stakes place, the courtroom. It lists Douglas Fort as a federal and state court-qualified expert witness in gangs, prisons, and urban culture.
In that court-qualified part, that's a big deal. It's not just saying I'm an expert. It means judges have recognized that expertise after probably some pretty tough legal challenges to your knowledge, your methods, your experience, you're allowed to give opinion testimony under oath. That's significant validation.
And the sheer volume. The document says a total of 111 gang cases where this expertise came into play.
Wow. 111. That number alone, it just speaks volumes about how often this kind of insight is needed, inside the justice system.
Yeah. And the breakdown of actual testimony. 15 times as a state gang expert, once federal, once as a state prison expert.
So applying it at different levels, state, federal, and different aspects, like prisons, too, not just street-level gangs.
And the breadth, geographically. Just listen to this list of where cases or testimony happened. Santa Clara, San Francisco, San Mateo, Solano, Placer, all in California. Then Montgomery County, Maryland, and Arundel, Maryland.
Okay, so East Coast, too.
Gwinnett, Georgia, Boston, Massachusetts, Multnomah, Oregon, even the Bronx, New York, plus federal and immigration cases, and a bunch more California counties like Alameda, Sacramento, Contra Costa.
The geographic spread is really key. It tells you the expertise isn't just locked into the quirks of one city.
Right.
It suggests understanding patterns, structures that maybe show up in different urban areas, different legal systems, but also being able to adapt to the local details. And doing that under cross-examination in so many different places, that's a serious test of knowledge.
Okay, so let's shift from the courtroom back out into the community. The CV talks about 26 years of hands-on social service work.
26 years?
Yeah, focused on urban communities, program supervision, fundraising, teaching, planning. That's decades spent right there.
Absolutely. And this is where the academic stuff and the legal knowledge really meet the lived reality. Look at the different roles, too. Director of Project Build at JobTrain. Gang expert contractor for defense attorneys in multiple counties. In-school suspension director. Advisor to African-American students. Even a special ed substitute teacher.
It shows engagement at so many different points, doesn't it? Job training, legal defense, inside schools, direct youth work.
Yeah, working within the established systems, but also in these community-based roles. It's versatile.
And the counseling experience section, this really stood out to me. 20 years focused on ex-offenders and at-risk youth. And it lists the specific gang affiliations counseled.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, naming various cliques of Nortenos, Serenos, TCG, Tongan Crip Gang, SOS Sons of Samoa, Crips, Bloods, KUMI, and the Black Guerrilla family.
Oh, okay. Listing them like that. That's not just a detail. It signifies direct personal work with people from a really wide range of major, often rival gang groups. Think about what that takes. You need incredible cultural competence, right? Understanding completely different structures, codes, histories, rivalries, and building trust in environments where mistrust is basically the default setting, that kind of direct, specific interaction. It's got to be incredibly rare, and it informs the expertise in a way nothing else could.
And the CV mentions direct contact with members from D.C., Oakland, Vallejo, San Jose, SF, through specific organizations listed too, which makes you wonder, how vital is that kind of direct on-the-ground work with individuals compared to, say, just reading academic studies or core files?
Well, this CV seems to argue it's foundational. It's not just observing from a distance.
Yeah.
It's building relationships, understanding what motivates people firsthand, maybe navigating immediate conflicts, seeing the day-to-day stuff. It's like the crucible where theory gets tested by reality. You learn things data just can't tell you.
Beyond the individual work, there's also significant community leadership mentioned, running for city council in East Palo Alto multiple times.
Getting into local politics.
Yeah, and being on key local committees, community hiring, a committee focused on crime prevention funding, another on business district development and transit.
Okay, so engaging at that level, it shows an understanding that you can't just fix things one person at a time, right?
Exactly.
You need systemic change, too. It's about trying to shape policy, influence where resources go, working within the political and civic structures of the community. It connects the street work to the bigger picture.
And then, this part is really interesting, the tangible results listed. Co-organizing a Peace and Unity rally in East Palo Alto back in 2007. It says over 2,000 people showed up in response to rising violence.
2,000 people. That's huge mobilization. It shows real leadership, ability to bring people together.
And other things. Helping send 40 inner-city youths to college through one program. Helping over 300 ex-offenders and at-risk youth through Project Build, noting that 90% were referred by probation and parole.
Those are concrete outcomes, not just effort, but results. Sending kids to college, successfully helping ex-offenders transition. That shows effective programs, life-changing work, and that high referral rate from probation. That suggests the system trusted the program's effectiveness.
It also mentions helping launch or rebuild local programs like youth sports, youth ministries.
Which highlights investing in the positive side, right?
Yeah.
Strengthening the community fabric that offers alternatives.
Mm.
These aren't just abstract claims. They're specific achievements demonstrating expertise, translating into real, measurable change.
Okay, and then finally, the CV shows a commitment to actually sharing all this built-up knowledge, teaching gang prevention classes for years.
Right, passing it on.
Yeah, in all sorts of settings, high schools, community schools, juvenile halls.
Going from doing the work to teaching it, that's a key step, isn't it?
Yes.
Solidifying what you know and getting it out there. And teaching in those different places, kids maybe not yet involved, youth already in the system that requires adapting really complex stuff for different audiences.
And there's media presence too, authoring articles like one mentioned about East Palo Alto and the crack epidemic, owning the Gang Expert YouTube channel, staying current through intelligence briefs, research, press, colleagues, and the CV even includes links to news articles and videos as part of its documentation.
So an active effort to be part of the broader conversation, share insights beyond just the direct work or the courtroom. It shows the expertise isn't like static. It's maintained, kept fresh, and put out there using modern ways to communicate. The linked media acts like public evidence, external references for the claims.
So we've done this deep dive into just one document, the CV, and what really comes through is this picture of expertise built on, well, an incredible mix of things.
Well, it really is a blend.
It starts with that focused academic base, adds this deep, almost unexpected legal knowledge, gets tested constantly, validated in courtrooms all over the place, refined through decades of really intense hands-on work with specific, often rival groups.
Yeah, that direct contact seems key.
Amplified through community leadership that actually achieved tangible things, and then finally shared through teaching and public platforms.
It really paints a picture of what it actually takes, doesn't it?
Right.
Combining, book smarts with street smarts, legal accuracy with human connection, individual help with trying to change the system, and always learning but also actively sharing. It's this really multifaceted skill set forged in some incredibly tough environments.
So when you consider everything we've unpacked just from this one document, I mean, the sheer range from understanding contract law and counterterrorism frameworks to testifying in federal court, counseling members of well-known rival gangs, organizing huge community rallies, helping hundreds turn their lives around, what does this whole comprehensive picture really suggest to you, the listener, about the kind of dedication, the depth, the unique synthesis of skills that's truly needed to be an expert who can navigate the tangled complexities of urban culture and its biggest challenges?